have a lot of ideas about what we think our food is, but there's not really a lot of information out there about what grows here and what we have access to, especially in South Africa. My responsibility as a black female chef is to reintroduce that conversation back into the table so Southern Africa can have a seat at that table to say, this is our food, these are our ways of cooking. Black Olive House is about clean eating. We don't use a lot of the GMO, flavorants and all of that. So I had to find ways to incorporate flavor outside of what was available to me in the shop or at the markets. So while doing that research, then I found it led me to indigenous crops, and I realized how much flavor they have, how many nutrients they have. They're very good for you. The key ingredients that I love working with is the South African garlic, the wild garlic. I also enjoy working with Nonhlanhla, which is wormwood, African wormwood, yeah. The indigenous crops have really been a risk for us, but it's fun. It's very exciting. Experimenting with them, discovering them, I think, is even more exciting. My garden is my home. My garden is right outside our studio, and it's an indigenous garden. And the reason why we created the garden, or we started planting, is because there's no access to these indigenous crops that I'm speaking about. It's still very small, but it gives us so much contentment because we've got impepo, we've got Nonhlanhla, we've got our wild garlic, we've got rose geranium there, and the fact that I can actually take them, use them, experiment with them, learn how they grow, why they grow, the different seasons that they go through is mainly the reason why we wanted to plant them. My grandmother's garden was the most beautiful garden I have ever seen. She ate a lot of raw food, and that's where I got my love for raw ingredients. When I started becoming a chef, I appreciated the food for the texture, how it smells when it's still raw. That's when you get the most out of it. So that's why salads are so amazing, because most of the stuff is still raw, it's crunchy, you get the real flavor out of that. The techniques that are truly close to my heart are old indigenous techniques, how our forefathers and ancestors used to cook. That's what I enjoy, how I enjoy cooking. And with that, there's no technicality really. The dish that I'm going to be making is going to be pap with amasi and a spinach and tomato relish. And that dish is very close to my heart because it's a dish that I grew up eating. It involves just boiling water, adding some maize, then cooking pap like how you normally cook pap. And then you take amasi, add some pesto in it, and then you chop some onions. And then add frozen spinach to that, because I find the texture is much nicer than when you use fresh spinach. Let it cook a little bit, add some black pepper, salt, and garlic. So South Africans didn't eat a lot of meat because we didn't really have a lot of access to meat here until recently. If you look at chicken, it's domesticated, and domestication only started a few years ago. So all these things that grew on this land is mainly what we ate. I wouldn't say I'm vegan or we are a vegan company, but that lifestyle influences a lot of what we do because it's good for you, it's very healthy. So when you live a plant-based lifestyle, everything becomes lighter and you have more energy throughout the day. I decided on Black Olive House because I'm a black female and I love olives, and the house, it was because I wanted it to feel like home. what it means for me to be a Black female chef in the African context is the responsibility is on me to have the conversations that I want to have as a Black female, but also as a female chef in Africa, especially in Southern Africa, to bring the conversation back to the table about Southern African ingredients. I want, us to be proud of the food that grows here, and we can't be proud of it if we don't know it. Beautiful, absolutely amazing.